Hello and welcome to Indian Masterminds. My name is Bhakti Kothari, and today we're honored to have with us Himachal's Additional Director General of Police, Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau, Ms. Satwant Atwal Trivedi, under whose leadership the police have been working tirelessly to carry on relief and rescue operations in one of the worst floods that ever struck the state. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Bhakti.
So, ma'am, first and foremost, you are a woman, and as we know, SPs of Kullu, Kangra, Mandi, all of them are women. So, how difficult or how easy it was to lead an all women's team in relief and rescue operation?
Well, when we're working, we're just professionals out there and nothing more than that.
Mhm.
We choose to be looked at like that, but um, sad to say, the woman doesn't go away from our, whatever tag it stays on. We're very proud of our identity, our gender identity,
Mhm.
but I wait for the day when we're looked at as just professionals. Having said that, I would say for us, it's more bonhomie. We are more open with each other as women, I would say. We understand each other's problems better, we understand each other's fatigue better. Uh, but then that wasn't really a woman to woman kind of a situation.
Mhm.
Whatever equation I have with them is over the years a personal and professional one. Uh, you just kind of brought it to the fore that we were three women working.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so, but gender was not a part of it. I just hope that the whole world also forgets that. But yes, we do come with the extra nourishing and sensitive soft skills.
Mhm.
And I think they came in very handy in this situation.
That's lovely, ma'am. And moving forward to this calamity that not only Himachal Pradesh but the entire country is facing right now, have you yourself witnessed such a calamity before? And what do you think would be the reason behind such massive floods this time?
Um, I cannot say that I have ever seen such a massive onslaught of rains before.
Mhm.
The reasons could be varied, the reasons could be many. It could be climate change, it could be construction very close to the rivers, and it could be a lot of debris falling in the rivers and maybe less of forest cover and tree cover. I
Mhm.
did see videos of some places where they have plum and peach trees growing. There were no landslides.
Right.
So I would again qualify this by saying that I'm not the expert on weather, so I can only give you a cop's perspective on situations that are related to us.
Yeah.
For this, it is just a common man's perspective.
Right, right. Definitely, ma'am. And of course, you are heading the rescue relief operations. You are on ground, you know the on ground situation. So, what are the challenges that you're facing right now, and how are you planning to overcome them?
Well, thankfully, we got a head start on this particular situation. If you remember, it was a Saturday and Sunday, so 2 days off, and that means a lot of tourists for us. But Saturday onwards, we started getting alerts, and Sunday, I'd put everybody out in the field.
Yeah.
The strategy was three-pronged.
Hmm.
First, identify areas that are vulnerable to landslides and houses falling.
Hmm.
Second, identify places where people would be moved. Then, identify the transportation that would take people. Keep communication channels open
Hmm.
throughout, and also identify roads. If a
Hmm.
particular road was to be blocked, what is the alternate route?
Yeah.
And I think that strategy came in very handy for us.
Hmm.
We were able to do a lot of evacuations in good time and reduce the loss of life to a large extent.
Right, right, ma'am. And which are the worst affected regions right now?
For us, that would be Kulu Manali.
Hmm.
Second is Mandi area.
Hmm.
These are the two districts that have seen the worst of it.
Okay, and like we know, Kullu Manali, Lahore Spiti, all these areas, they're like tourist attraction, especially at this point of time when the country is heating so much. So I'm pretty sure a lot of tourists must have also been stranded there. So how did you rescue those tourists? How were they sent back? What exactly happened? And were there also foreigners during the flood, during the time the floods took place?
I'll start that backward. Yes, there were a lot of foreigners,
Mm-hmm.
close to, I think, 700, more than
Okay.
18 nationalities.
Yeah.
They're all out of Himachal now, all of them safe by God's grace.
My name is Tali. I'm from Israel, and I've been stuck for 5 days in Sangla with another Israelis and 3 other foreigners. And we've just been rescued by the district administration, and we're heading to Shimla next, and we're safe and good.
Yeah.
Most of our tourists are out. They were there from almost every state.
Mm.
And over the weekends, at times, we have tourists close to, 1 lakh.
Right.
But here, I would say 70 to 75,000 people.
Mm.
And most of them have been evacuated by the detours that were taken because the roads are still under repair.
Mm.
Even today, as we talk, there were repairs going on a couple of roads that are the main routes. So we do keep stopping traffic, we keep diverting the traffic. But yes, the tourists are moving out. Those of them who've stayed back, it's out of their own volition because they want to move back with their vehicles. So for the vehicles to go back, it'll take a little bit of time. The roads are still not through.
Yeah.
So for all the tourists that were taken out and evacuated, it was by foot up to a certain point, and after that they were taxied from there. But there are some who are not very willing to leave their vehicles behind. But good to report that they're all safe and they're all in safe shelters. There's enough food and medicine, so there's no cause of worry. And now, by and large, communication has been restored, so they're in touch with their families,
Yeah.
and that removes all the stress that a person would have at a particular time.
Definitely, ma'am. And is it also the same for locals? Like, if you could give us an insight into the condition of locals currently, have they been evacuated from low-lying regions? How are you communicating with them? Local condition.
Locals, well, the loss of property has been immense. I
Yeah.
would not be able to put a figure to that, but a lot of people have lost their crops. This is the crop season for apples, peas, cabbage, and such other crops. Yes, there has been damage to that, along with corn and rice. This is the season for sowing both. So there's been loss to agriculturists. There have been buildings that have been washed off. There are fields on shops that have been washed off. Yes, they are assessing, the concerned authorities are assessing the damage in their particular areas. As far as people are concerned, we've evacuated most. Some lives have been lost due to accidents on the road because of the slushy conditions. We're tabulating those. There are still some missing people. We're looking for them. But I would say everybody's still on a high alert.
Yeah.
And we keep the vigil high because it rained yesterday also. Today morning there was a cloud burst in that area, but because all the authorities, including us, the PWD, the civil authorities, the electricity wing, the BSNL, the other service providers, everybody's on a high alert.
Yeah.
So whatever is the role of every given authority, they're all playing their role, and everybody's putting their best foot forward to provide best of the services so that life is not disrupted beyond a particular limit.
That's true, ma'am. And by when do you think Himachal's mountains will be safe for tourists again?
Mountains are always safe.
Yeah.
It's just that a few roads have been washed away. Mountains always stand tall and safe for everybody if we don't mess too much with the way they exist.
Yeah.
I would say it would take some time to repair all the roads. The authorities are working round the clock because for us, the next challenge is taking the apple crop out of the state. So that being one of the major commercial activities of the state,
Hmm.
the roads are being repaired in very, very fast mode so that everything gets back to normal quickly. And we look forward to having everybody back in the Devbhoomi, as we always say.
Yeah.
Everybody is very welcome, but only after a few days.
Definitely, for sure, ma'am. And also, one more question that was coming to my mind was because Manali and all these places are cold regions. That is why people from our states, we go to Manali to visit their place. And I'm pretty sure all these flood waters, they must be like near freezing temperatures. So how difficult was it to carry those rescue operations, rescuing people from them in such a drastic temperature?
Well, as on date, Kulu Manali is not so cold.
Hmm.
Waters do get cold, yes, but Kulu Manali for the locals, anything above 10 degrees not cold. So it hovered around that. Chandratal was snowed in, that is in
Yeah.
Lahore Spiti and Sisu. There were enough warm clothing. The campers there are well trained. They even had oxygen cylinders and enough medicines and food.
Hmm.
So that wasn't the difficult part. Cold wasn't the difficult part, but yes, working in the rain was the difficult part. The rains were unrelenting for a few days,
Hmm.
but then we did see some sunshine. We were all praying for that.
Hmm.
That helped in the rescue operations.
That's lovely. And like you mentioned, Chandratal also, the conditions in Chandratal were drastic. So could you give us a little insight about the rescue operation that took place there as well?
Well, Chandratal, people had gone there not expecting snow. It was
Yeah.
a little early. The
Hmm.
snows generally come towards maybe at times end of July
Hmm.
or even later at times. I've seen the before and after pictures. There
Hmm.
was grass growing there,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden the snow started, and there was 3.5 feet of snow before they could look out and say, okay, well, let's stop, let's see what's happening outside. So, yes, the tourists and the locals were snowed in. There were close to 300 of them.
Hmm.
There were a lot of sheep and local shepherds, around 15 shepherds.
Hmm.
But they're resilient people, the locals. So
Hmm.
they knew how to handle the situation, and the camps were very well equipped.
Hmm.
We had a bit of medical emergency, and we did a chopper sortie on the third day. The Indian Air Force evacuated 7 people who were a little, I think, worried about the health condition,
Hmm.
and we got them out in time. Other than that, I think they stayed put. They remained in high spirits. The
Hmm.
only concern being that they were not in touch with their families, and they were made to call their families through the
Hmm.
sat phone and let everybody know that they were fine. We at the headquarters also took their numbers through wireless communication, and we connected with families of more than 100 plus tourists who could
Hmm.
send their numbers to us, and we let them know that they're safe. Then our revenue minister, Mr. Jagat Negi, and one of the CPSs, Mr. Sanjay Awasthi, they, along with a team of 20, went themselves.
Hmm.
So, two of our senior leaders, they led the operation. Mr. Negi is from Kinnaur himself, so he knows how to navigate in the snow. He's
Hmm.
very well acquainted with the needs of the rescue operations. He took the administration. That was a huge team. There were bulldozers, there were JCBs, and enough fuel and medicines that they took along, reached the place around past 2 in the night,
Yeah.
and early morning they all marched back. 6:30, I think the first party was ready to leave back towards Losa,
Yeah.
which is the station, the nearest station coming out of Chandratal.
Hmm. That's lovely. I'm pretty sure that must have been really hectic, but very intense. Very.
Good thing there was that no lives were lost. That is the biggest, I would say, victory there, that no lives were lost.
Hmm.
And before anyone anybody could fall ill, they were evacuated. There were some concerns, health concerns. Before they could develop further, they were all evacuated.
That's lovely, ma'am. Very intense, very challenging, but just lovely. And also, please tell us about the help received from the center in these relief and rescue operations.
The NDRF was very much there. There were 14 parties of NDRF, 14 reserves that were working in the field, shoulder to shoulder with our own SDRF and local police teams. Then there was the Indian Air Force. The chopper evacuated the first 7 from Chandratal and also helped us with the evacuations in the Sangla Valley, where a big portion of the road had been washed away. Yeah. Other than that, the local ITBP contingent posted in Kinnaur, along with the army officers there, also helped in the rescue and relief operations.
I'm pretty sure that must have been really hectic, but very intense.
The good thing there was that no lives were lost. That is the biggest, I would say, victory there, that no lives were lost. And before anybody could fall, we used the social media to our advantage this time and made sure that there was no panic or misinformation out there. So I would just suggest or maybe request everybody out there that in such a situation, it's always good to connect, give out the right information. We were largely helped by the local population. At some place in Kasol, there was a local teacher who was helping. He trekked down and let us know that everybody was safe. There were local guides who were helping us with the rescue operations. But we are thinking of some way to get to know how people would, be known to us, because this is not the day where the tourists come and stay in a hotel. People are getting more and more adventurous. They're going out and camping in the forest areas. So sometimes they do not even take the gear at the local places. They carry their own gear. So they travel from the plains and they go into the interiors and camp at a place they find is beautiful. And there is no way to know who was there, how many people accompanying a particular vehicle. So we are thinking of coming up with that in a software that can tabulate all this. And I would urge everybody entering, even if it takes a bit of time to come up with this kind of a mechanism officially, that please do let somebody know where you're going. Let somebody know your location, because if you noticed on the social media, we were asking people to let us know where was the last location, any hotel that their relatives let them know of that they were staying. So if somebody were to know where you were, it would be easier for us to reach. God forbid such a situation arises again.
Definitely, ma'am. I totally agree with you, ma'am, and I'm really glad that you're able to carry on this rescue operation that has saved so many lives already. And it was definitely a very enlightening conversation with you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.